It's a 3-day meeting, really. We can only come up with a meeting of minds on what the key priorities are for the African continent going forward. We are hoping to have a clarity of the strategies that the regional office of ILO working in Africa can focus on in terms of our engagement with our social partners, at least for the medium to long term in the African continent. And these, of course, relate to the entire question of employment, especially youth employment. I think that's critical. And you're looking at employment here in the broader sense, really, of not just the creation of jobs, but also the creation of skill sets, questions of employability, questions of entrepreneurship training, and questions of narrowing the gap between the demand for skills by industry and the supply of skills by tertiary institutions. So in all these dimensions, as it were. And then the second will be, of course, the issues around social protection, as it were. Even the African economies over the last decade or so have grown, I think we've also seen increased inequality, as it were. And we're trying to work with our partners and governments and countries that we work in to help countries develop appropriate strategies and programs on social protection, as it were. There could be, grants, income grants or provision of subsidized health care or education. But, all these measures that, alleviate the hardships experienced by the marginal groups, as it were, but also enhance investment in social capital and human capital. And then the third priority then is around the fragile states. Most of the fragile states are in Africa. I think the regional office has to come up with strategies and a package of services that can be customized and deployed in countries that are regarded as fragile, depending on the stage of fragility. And by and large here, we're looking at how to promote labor-intensive type, rehabilitation, infrastructure, and that type of thing. But in the process, bring into the labor force, into productive employment, the large numbers of young Africans that have been marginalized, really, as a result of conflict. But in a way, also consolidate the peace, by generating income, by improving infrastructure. And then, of course, the fourth priority is around migration. And it's not just Africans trying to leave Africa to go into Europe, but also within Africa itself. Large numbers of Africans really live and work in countries other than their own, or countries of birth in Africa. But we don't have systematic systems to promote constructive and productive migration of people, and or systems or protocols to really ensure that the rights of migrants are respected, even taking into account the interests of the host countries and all. So these are all issues that will be discussed, and we're hoping that there is a meeting of minds at the end of the day among the governments and the social partners on how some of these broad priorities then can be domesticated and implemented at the country level. We want to cultivate stronger partnerships with governments that we work with and the social partners at the country level. But we are also looking at international financial institutions such as the African Development Bank or the World Bank in that sense. And in Africa, we're also looking to develop partnerships with non-traditional donors, as it were. For example, you have institutions like the Kuwaiti Development Fund. We're looking for opportunities to partner with them, particularly in areas of common interest. And we're also looking and interested in foundations and private philanthropy. So we want to expand, really, the engagement and broaden the dialogue with other partners that similarly preoccupied with the priorities that we work in.